What's up, YouTube? Today is a day of remembrance. I hope you're having a great day, and I apologize in advance if I'm not my normally non-animated self. I also apologize if there's wind noise. It's supposed to pick up. I'm getting going later than I thought, and I sort of moved the microphone around, so who knows? We'll see how this plays out. But I wanted to record today and stop what you're doing, pause the video after I tell you this, and in the comments below, if you've lost a loved one, leave me a comment. Doesn't have to be their name, maybe just your relationship to them or a fond memory. But today is a day of remembrance because 19 years ago, today, the world lost a great man. My dad died. And I may get a little emotional. I know it's been 19 years, but it still hurts. I'm married now, have a house, have kids, and I'm truly a blessed man. I really am. But at the same time, my dad is missing all of these experiences that I'm having. So I know he's up in heaven looking down. I've mentioned it on the channel before, but this is just real talk between you and me. I miss him. I really do. I know he's down. I know he's up in heaven looking down on me. Not down in heaven looking up on me, but it's not the same as if he was here. And for those of you with both your parents still alive, God bless them. God bless you. I know I say God and then I'll probably curse here in a minute or two, but you know, the two are not mutually exclusive, so deal with it. This is me trying this is me relieving some level of stress and connecting with my dad. I've mentioned it on the channel before. He got me into motorcycles because when I was a kid, he had a Kawasaki KZ 650 SR. Now I have a KZ 650 SR, and that whole thing of motorcycles, just, you know, riding his bike around with him, got me into it, and I've been pretty much hooked ever since. So as soon as I was able to, I got a bike, and now I have this one. So today I'm going to the gravesite. I'm going to show Dad this bike. He hasn't seen it yet. I've had it a little over a year, but unfortunately I was unable to go to his gravesite last year on this date. And today we're going there. And afterwards, we're going to do some fun stuff. So I think I'm going to tell a couple of stories about my dad. Feel free to share stories about your dad or your mom or any loved one you have in the comments below. Let's all have a happy moment that comes from something that's so gosh darn sad. So with that said, let's make a right on this road, and I'm going to tell a story about my dad. So my dad had this, he always looked for odd ways to have humor in his life. I mean, the guy had a unique sense of humor, and he was super charming. His funeral, the entire funeral place was just filled up. They had the main room, the overflow room, and it was all standing room only. It was kind of wild. So many people showed up to show their respects. But when I was a kid, we had a neighbor across the street named Pete. And Pete had an old ride-on lawnmower. And he would fight that thing. He was too cheap to replace it, but it never ran right. So he was always fighting with it, and he would curse at it in German and all sorts of crazy stuff because Pete was from Germany. And it was so funny because one day my dad grabbed a couple of folding chairs and he goes, "Hey, let's go over to Pete's house and watch him fight his lawnmower." So we literally went over, sat in front of his yard in the cul-de-sac that we lived on, and watched this man fight with his mower for an hour and a half while my dad drank beer. Oh God, and just seeing us there made Pete even more mad, and he would curse even louder. It was just so funny. I mean, that's the kind of neighborhood I grew up in. There was also one year when I was a teenager that my dad said, hey, I'm out of scotch. Let's go over to the neighbor's house and let's go trick-or-treating. So we grabbed our sombreros, and they were authentic Mexican sombreros from Zihuatanejo, I think it's pronounced, that Pete had brought us from one of his trips. So we put on our sombreros and we go door to door, my dad, empty glass in hand, and they would give me a soda and some candy because I was a teenager, but they gave Dad a pour of scotch at each house. I mean, that's the kind of crazy shit my dad did, and I just find it so funny. The guy was a trip. We stopped in a bar to have, I mean, this is the kind of impression this guy made. Shortly after my 21st birthday, he wanted to buy me a beer. You know, I'm 21 now. So we drove to a dive Tubby's Diner or something, and we just drove there. We stopped by, and there was this waitress, bartender, and we each had a couple of beers and, you know, cheered to my being 21, and then we went home. 6 months later, I stopped in Tubby's Diner, and the waitress remembered him, or the bartender, sorry. The bartender remembered my dad, asked how he was, and I had to tell her that he had passed on, and she was, you know, she expressed her condolences and all that, but then she paid my tab for me, which I thought was really cool. But just that's the kind of stuff, that's the kind of impression my dad made on people. You know, everybody talks about their parents being perfect or inspirational and all that, and, you know, I'm not here to sugarcoat it. My dad wasn't perfect, neither am I, but I'll be darned if he just wasn't a charming guy who was an inspiration to at least me. And yeah, I like to remember the good things about him because he was pretty awesome. I'm still not over the fact that he beat Mario Brothers before I did. He picked me up from daycare one day, brought me home, showed me what was on the screen, and I was like, "Really? You beat it without me?" He's like, "Yeah, I took the day off of work and did it." Friendly competition. So that's a quick story about my dad. So if you're missing somebody in your life, leave a comment below. And I hope you have a great day. And now I'm gonna go visit him at his gravesite. I love you, Dad. I miss you. And then I'm gonna go for a ride because I need it today. This right here, folks, this is my happy place. So not a real happy one today, but just a quick video to I don't know why I'm doing this, but I hope you get something out of it. Till I see you again, keep the shiny side up. Can I get a green light here? There we go. I will leave you with this funny joke, and it's not that funny, but it's still kind of hilarious. About a year after my dad passed away, I was hanging out with a buddy of mine and a friend of his, and we were talking about our folks and stuff. We were in our early 20s, and one of them said, "Oh, where do your parents live?" I said, "Oh, my mom lives in Olney, but my dad lives in a gated community in Aspen Hill." And the guy thinks for a minute, he goes, "There's no gated communities in Aspen Hill, just a great..." "Oh, you son of a bitch." My buddy, who already knew that I was going to say that, he about fell out of his chair. It was so funny.